Hello and welcome to another episode of Scotland Shop on the Sofa. I'm Amy and today I'm joined by my very talented cousin Emma from Duchess Seerra, a company Emma founded herself which provides unique props and styling services for a huge array of events. We actually used a few of the vintage suitcases she has available for hire for our USA launch press photo shoot, and they looked amazing, draped in tartan in the Latham Hills with Anna and Emily sitting side by side with them. Emma is going to be using her expert styling skills to show us not only how we can put together a beautiful Christmas dinner table, but also how to introduce a touch of tartan so you can really show off your Scottish heritage on your special day. Given that for many last year it was a much smaller and quieter Christmas, we know many of our customers are looking to take their celebrations to the next level this time. And what better way to do that by incorporating tartan? So Emma, why don't you start by telling us how you got into styling?
Well, my background, I do have quite a bit in visual merchandising. So with that, you were sort of taught simplistic things of the pyramid and where to sit things backwards and forwards. Colours as well really came into it. So I've literally taken that and taken it into another sort of company where I can then use it across events, parties, weddings, table styling, lots of different areas. So it started from there and then it just seems to have grown so much bigger and it's brought us to here.
Oh, that's amazing. And what excites you most about styling for Christmas?
Well, we go big. We go real big. As you can see, luckily today we're at my family home in the Scottish Borders and we're actually at the dinner table we usually eat our Christmas lunch at. So today to be able to style this table without all the noise in the background of my family shouting at me is so lovely. But we do go big. We love to celebrate Christmas. So to be able to style it for you guys today with a little bit of tartan to bring in our Scottish heritage as well is really, really exciting. So yeah, I'm going to go big and I'm going to go home.
That sounds great. So Emma's going to show you how she styles this table for you. So I've never actually hosted a Christmas dinner before and I'm going to be hosting my first one this year in my flat.
Very exciting.
So I have literally no idea where to start with putting together a Christmas themed table. So what would be your tips on how to start a creative project like this?
Well, I always talk about a vibe. What's your vibe? What's going to be your colour?
Right.
So when I think of my home, I've got quite a different range of colours, but I always seem to fall back on red.
Right.
Especially when it's our Christmas one. And what we like to do is, my partner and I, Ross, we like to go out and actually forage holly with the berries on it.
Okay.
So it's nice, we take the sausage dogs a walk and we go and get our little holly with berries on it. And we basically start from there and we work our way out. There's no more to it in that sense. Like once you've got your colour, or it works with whatever you've got in your surroundings, so here we've got all the lovely natural tones of the outside, pops of red really stand out against the backdrop. It's the same if you've got a white area or a white living room, you can go any colour you like. If your vibe's black, if it's a bit more gothic, go for that. If you've already got blue in the room, choose a red. Do something totally contrasting that's going to really pop and stand out and make a bit of a statement on the day. That's where I like to go anyway. Nothing subtle about it.
Yeah, so definitely the colour is the main focus point then.
Yeah, I think it's a great starting point because if you know your colour, you can sort of go out from there.
Yeah.
You can even like choose different colours of candles, like you don't have to stick with white, you can go black, you can go green. There's so many different options out there that you can really incorporate that. And then from there you naturally build up the style that you like and it feels most like you and your family.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like most like your home.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how would you then incorporate tartan into your foliage and all those kind of accents?
Yeah. So tartan's got loads of colours in it. So don't feel that you have to go with the biggest, brightest colour. So we've got our beautiful Stuart tartan here with its most predominant colour being a shade of red. But there's also green, there's yellow, there's white. You can pick out those accents as well, which is what we've tried to do through our foliage and through our candles too. We've picked out the white and what that does is it elevates the table and makes it fresh feeling as well. well. So say if you went for something like the black watch, which is much more greener tones, you can pick out the other sort of black tone in it, pick out a different shade. Don't feel that because that's the most predominant colour in that tartan, you have to go with that.
Yeah.
And with there being so much variety of tartan, you can have a different one for each sort of different festive time that you have, and bring it out and style it in loads of different ways.
Yeah.
So the Stuart tartan you can do loads of different styles every year.
Yeah, because there's so many different colours within that one tartan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when I had to try and do my first Christmas table, and it was quite daunting because your family's always had one and styled it, and I know that your mum very well and how she loves to style things.
Yeah.
So what tartan would you choose? Because there's so many. What would you do?
Well, it's such a difficult decision because there's over 500 tartans to choose from.
That's a lot.
And like each clan has their own tartan, and within that there's so many different variations. You've got modern and ancient and dress, but I think my favourite one I would have to say that I would choose would be the Fraser dress modern tartan. It's like a really bright red and it's got hints of green and blue in it, so you could go really traditional or you could go quite like modern with pulling out the blue and stuff and making a proper contrast, like what you were saying earlier.
That's cool. I love it.
So what accessories would you recommend pairing with your tartan tableware?
So again, it can vary, but as I say, going on what I like to do and what brings in very much Christmassy vibe is again I forage or I buy these cones. So they're actually Christmas scented cones.
Oh, cool.
So not only do they look nice, they smell nice, and the best thing about them is you can actually buy the essential oils to go back on them every year. So it's cost effective, it's economical, you're saving money, and you're just buying the essential oils which come from all natural plants anyway. So it's a really lovely thing to do. Also, the other things I like to pop on is candlesticks. Specifically for this colour of tartan and this styling, I went for some gold and brass candlesticks.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, but glass candlesticks are also lovely, and the reason that it's so important to choose your candlesticks accordingly is actually how many people you've got around a table.
Okay.
So if it's a candelabra, that might cut somebody off. We don't want to cut off Granny around the Christmas dinner table.
No.
We want to keep her in full view. But it means that they can easily move around as well, and you can nip round them and speak and still have a full visual of each other. So single candlesticks work across a Christmas table, plus they also create a nice bit of height. Another thing I like to put in is something which you can hire through Duchess Seerra is your name holder.
Oh, they're so cute.
With a little love heart.
Yeah.
So it's really important for me that I like to spread everybody out. I like to keep people that are maybe hard of hearing in the centre of the table so they can be fully aware of all we're chatting around. I'd hate for them to be popped on the end of the table and find it difficult.
Yeah.
So little things like that with a wee name holder just makes it much easier and a bit of fun when everyone comes to the table and thinks, oh, who am I sitting beside?
Yeah.
I mean, what accessories do you have that you would use for a table?
Well, we have quite a lot of different tartan accessories that you could use. And then we've got little Highland cow decorations. And
like this little one here.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, that is pretty cool because something that I was introduced by when I met my partner Ross was they done table gifts, and I'd never heard of that. And they said, oh, it's just a little gift, a little token of gesture after everything's gone on and all the presents have opened that you get to take home. So this one would actually work perfectly with our Stuart tartan, and you can place it on the plate and then everybody can get one and they can take it all home as a gift. So
Oh, that's lovely, yeah. And then you're matching it with the table as
and
well.
each one could be matched with whatever tartan we've got. So yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. You could even do, if everyone's got a different clan, you could really go to town and get everyone a different present that's their clan.
Definitely. I mean, even if you were to give these to the men and the love hearts to the women as well, that would be sometimes quite nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Loads of
That's
options.
a lovely idea. Do you need to have planned your menu before you start planning your table?
I would say, for me, yes.
Right.
As you can see, we've got a lot of nice foliage down the middle. So our middle centre of the table, which is most accessible to everybody, is now not accessible.
Yeah.
So if you're hoping that everybody sort of grabs and feeds for themselves, big spoons and, you know, they like more sausages than them, then this is not the table styling for you. We would have to put placemats out, make it very structured so that when it came straight out of the oven, it went straight onto each bit, and that the table and also your tartan was protected from the heat.
Yeah.
Whereas we like to serve ours and we like to make a bit of drama down the table. So that's how we've set it up like this, and we'll serve and then everybody has their plates already laid out. So it's super important when you want to do it.
Plan it,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's good to know.
So what I wanted to ask you about, which I think is probably one of the most important things on the table, is the centerpiece. How do you go about choosing a centerpiece for your table?
Well, if it's not going to be the turkey, I like to create a bit of height.
Okay.
So we want it to be a focal point for everybody, and I like mine to be interactive. So I've chosen live food, so some fruit, some pomegranates. So if, for example, my starter is going to have pomegranates on it, I love it. So it means that somebody can grab a pomegranate, hit the pomegranate, and then pass it on to the next person.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And a candle's always lovely because it creates a bit of ambience as well. I've got passion fruit in there too because I like to pop mine in my prosecco.
Ooh.
Plus it means it's less work for the host. So if your bits are already on the table, even better.
Yeah.
So I know there's salt and pepper needs to go in there. If they can become part of the feature, make them part of the feature. Like incorporate whatever you're using on that day that makes it easier, you less running around, pop it in. I know some people like to use wine. I know that they like to pop it in the middle of the table, which is lovely. But I think even getting something with a bit more height, just to elevate it, just brings everybody's focal point right back up and creates a bit of height to the table, and again a bit of dimension.
Yeah, no, that's such a good idea. I really like the fresh fruit idea. That's so good. And then, how do you go about actually laying everything onto the table then? How do you do that?
So obviously we start with the tartan first. We get our flattest bit down, and it's great as well. It depends if you're wanting to just show off the tartan by itself. Sometimes depending on the colour of your table, you might want to pop a white tablecloth over it.
Right.
And what it does is it makes the tartan really pop if that is going to be your main focal point. We want that to really be standing out. But anything flat, get it down. And then what we want is our biggest bits. So foliage is great, but it really shows areas that need to be then refilled. So we've created this sort of dynamic of like a wave going through, and then we're able to pop our cones sort of in between, and then we can slide in our different sort of candelabras as well throughout that. But your base is get your foliage on if that's what we're going for. If it's fresh fruit, pop the fruit down. If it's your wine, get the wine down. Get the important things on first, and then you can add the little bits around it. Definitely when we're starting with foliage.
Oh, okay.
The other things I like to have on the table, as we said, is bits of fun elements. So I've got these Ferrero Rocher over here mixed with fruit to change the colour of the table, to add like an extra vibe in there. And that glass, what that does is it allows you to see through to the person sitting opposite you. So it's not solid, it's not closing off, it's allowing light to pass through and still allowing you to see the foliage that you've spent so much time on too.
Okay.
I've got the cheese board ready, and I've got this very fun sled. So I've popped it at the end of the table, again just adding an element of Christmas into it. Again, that's something else that you don't have to worry about at the end of the dinner. It's already out, and if your people want to nibble on it, they can nibble on it. It means that your guests are more than entertained before you've even had to give it a second thought.
Yeah, that's such a good idea, because you don't want to be constantly running around thinking, oh God, I need to get the cheese out.
Exactly.
Or if people are moaning they're hungry.
That's exactly.
They can't moan.
Yeah, they can't moan. It's all right there.
Yeah.
So something else that I like to do to make it easy for us hostesses is that I put a drinks trolley in, and it means that my guests, my family, my friends can help themselves to alcohol or fresh drinks throughout the meal, and it means that we don't have to be jumping up and down the whole time. And what it also allows me to do is add more ambience to the table, and not any bottles sort of chinking around or any wine dribbling onto our lovely tartan. So I make a nice drinks trolley, I put all my fresh fruit already cut up, and anything they'll need, ice, and I stick it on a drinks trolley, and then that can be wheeled into the living room for later when everybody's ready to sit in front of the television.
Oh, that's a lovely idea. Again, very practical, isn't it?
I would say so.
Yeah. So, how would I go about setting up my table lay then?
Yeah, so there's loads of different ways you can lay out cutlery and plates, and that can be also part of the huge feature of a table. It can also be at Christmas, we invite maybe more people round, as you say, we're wanting that big family feel, we're wanting friends round, get back out seeing people, and that can really determine how much cutlery you lay out, the way you lay it out, and also your plates. So what I've done is I've done 3 different styles for us, and it sort of depends on how big your table is and how many people you've got around it.
Okay.
So within our first one, what I've done is I've laid out both your starter and your main cutlery, but also placed your starter plate on top. This creates, takes away a bit of the space, it takes away a bit of the time that you're having to lay out maybe a starter plate. If you've got the food down the middle of the table, it's already there for everybody to use, and it's easy for clearing away too. The next one's if you're just going straight for the main, no mucking around, straight for the turkey. What I've done is I've put the cutlery in the centre of the plate and made it a feature. And then on our last one over here, it's just a bit of mix of both. We've only got our main cutlery, but we've got our bread plate sitting onto the main plate itself. Again, saving some space so we can get another bum around the table, but also it just adds a bit of elevation like we were talking about before.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed you've got 3 different glasses out, so do you think that's important to have like a range of different glasses available for?
I'd say maybe I'm a bit more old school. Like I'm very all about there's no school like old school, and I love as many glasses as possible. And we love a good cocktail at Christmas, and Ross and I, my partner, always talk about how good a drink tastes if it's out the right glass. So we love the biggest goblet glasses for red wine, because we always have red wine. But as you say, I've got 3 different types there, just to show that is the usual styling of the 3 different heights of glasses.
Okay.
So usually you have a water glass, which is your smallest glass. The next glass we've got is a medium-sized glass, because we like to do gin and tonic. So my brother's very good, and he's got his own gin company. So we like to have a little bit of his gin on Christmas Day, as it was created around the farm. So that's our gin glass around the day. Nice tall glass, but again it can be used for soft drinks afterwards, and then a wine glass. So depending on everybody's own style, but we go for a big goblet, and it can be used for white or red, depending if you're doing a fish course or if you're doing meat for a red course. So yeah, those are the 3 different glasses I like to use.
And then I noticed you've folded your napkins obviously in 3 different ways, and they're very fancy. And so would you always fold them, like do a little fancy thing with the napkins? I feel like it's maybe quite important. I want to impress my guests.
Yeah, this is the simplest way to impress guests as well. Add bouge with a napkin. So it's great that they match our middle table section as well, because again you're linking it back, and a nice white plate can elevate any table too and really make it stand out. So yeah, I've laid it out. That's, oh my gosh, the turkey's here, my mother's at the door, I must get the tables set. That's option number 1, but very effective. It's a nice flat laid out, you can see the full pattern of the tartan, and it really shows colour. The next is folded with a little bit of foliage. So I've just went out and got it from one of our trees, but it's just a bit of string tied, hold it all together, and just fluff to the top. We gather it at the bottom and pull it all through. Super easy, but most effective, and creates like nice bit of drama. And then I've folded our last as a Christmas tree just for you. Because if you're looking to really impress, it's very, very simple to follow, but creates dramatic effect and also very, very Christmassy. So I can show you how to do that.
Oh, that would be great. They look fun. So now that we've done our beautiful Christmas table, we've moved on to Hogmanay. So Emma's styled a beautiful table for Hogmanay, and we've changed to the black watch tartan. Feels a little bit less Christmassy.
Yes.
So how did you decide how to style the black watch tartan?
So I wanted to go for a little bit more of a modern spin on things,
Okay.
just by bringing in sort of your black and accent candles as opposed to our traditional gold brass accent candles.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done is I've taken the much darker tartan and tried to lift it. So we've added the accents of gold much more,
Mm-hmm.
our lovely wreath in the centre, but also being mindful and bringing back our original centerpieces from our Christmas table, because we want to reuse and show that it's diversity, that we don't have to buy everything brand new to give a completely different look.
Yeah.
It's not. We've just taken some away
Mm-hmm.
and added some gold accents.
Yeah, so you've kept things that you have used with the Stuart Royal because it still works with other tartans.
Definitely, because this was our centerpiece, but what we've done is we've taken a wreath that's just much less Christmas festive, but still
And do you
festive period,
Mm-hmm.
and popped it just inside, and it just creates that much more more drama around it.
Yeah.
Keeping the cones because we still like the smell of Christmas.
Yeah.
But just scattered them without the main wreath, and obviously we need to keep our chocolates on the table because who doesn't love a bit of that around about New Year?
So how do I choose which plates, cutlery, glasses to go for? You know, you've used like quite the collection of plates. How do I go about choosing things like that?
So pick whatever dishes you're needing for your meal that night.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with Hogmanay, things can get a little bit more excitable, and we have a few glasses of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
So, get everything on your table that you need. Make sure it's all there for your guests. So again, you've got more time to relax and enjoy yourself. So for this one, I've got something called a charger plate. So it's this nice big gold plate, and what it does is it just takes it into like the new year, a bit of celebration.
Yeah.
We've then got our normal dish plate and then our side plate on top. So again, you can put more things down the centre of the table. Now we're in more of a minimalistic look.
Mm-hmm.
Get those down the centre of the table and then sit yourself down with your glass of wine. Give them everything they need, all their cutlery and all their glasses. So again, we went for our wine glass, a different champagne glass,
Mm-hmm.
and then a water glass as well. And we went for cut crystal or real crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the cut crystal just gives you a much more dramatic feel for New Year.
Yeah.
But don't shy away from coloured glass. We use a lot of coloured glass with things, as you know. If you look at any of my props, they're very colourful.
Yeah.
And I love injecting a bit of colour. But see, with your darker tartan, try and go for a clear one, but give it drama by adding the cut glass.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. So obviously you've got there are a lot of accessories and props and everything, but it still looks so good. How do you make it not look cluttered when you've got all the tartan and accessories and everything?
Well, when we break it down, there's actually groups of things together. So,
Okay.
as you said before, you've got all these plates, but they're actually grouped together in one spot.
Yeah.
You've got your glasses, but they're grouped together.
Mhm.
We've got our tall candles to take our eye up, grouped together.
Mm-hmm.
Centerpiece grouped together, and the only thing really scattered around is actually our cones to create that length across the table and to make it feel full even at both ends.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, it's little groups.
Yeah.
So if you try and do that and keep it in little sections, it actually takes the eye to specific areas as opposed to being like,
Well, there's so much going
yeah.
on here.
And
Yeah.
then your tartan actually acts as a backdrop
Yeah.
to everything else that you've got.
Yeah. Oh, that makes so much sense. And do you ever use any extra tables for food or drink or accessories when you can't fit them on the table?
Yeah, definitely. I always keep booze on a separate table where possible.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it on a drinks trolley so that it's then moving around because it can go outside. Some people like to watch fireworks, some people's neighbours like to do that.
Yeah.
Or you like to go first foot in, so again the wee drinks trolley, you can even take it to your front door for first foot in.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. Also another table as well that you can actually just pop your dishes on.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to sit over there. Nobody wants to do that. Come the bells. Everyone's just wanting to celebrate or reminisce, bring back good old memories of what's happened and think about what's to come. So get another table, pop it somewhere else, and just any dishes, put it across. And then what you can do is you can then give yourself a clean slate, so when it comes back after the bells, you can all sit down to have a bit of pudding or maybe a few shots or a few drinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good idea. So again, I've noticed that styled the napkin in a very fancy way again. So what's the thoughts behind this?
So this time I just went with a straight up knot.
Right, okay.
Make it nice and simple. So it means that you can just display your whole tartan, again by grouping it together, but they're creating a bit of drama across the bottom. And by laying it across the plates this time too, you're taking the tartan from not just across the table but onto your plates, and those nice white plates show up the tartan really well. And I just added a little bit of our seasonal flower and just popped it underneath just to give a little sprig of colour, because there's quite a bit of warmth in it, and the warmth in the flower again just elevates it.
Yeah.
And by placing it again on the plates, you're grouping everything together.
Yeah, so again, not
laying it, not doing too much.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. I like the little knot.
And it's super easy.
And if I don't have enough time to style my table myself, is that something you can do for me?
Yeah. I can 100% take that off your hands. Sometimes you just want to spend it with the family, or it might just be a bit too much, or you have all the stuff but you're not quite sure what to put with what. It's not about going out and buying loads of stuff, it's actually working with what you've got.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I can bring it and pop it in.
Yeah.
So all those little bits of touches that then come, restyle it, redecorate it, pop it all together, it can really create a good space. So yeah, I can come in with as much or as little as you'd like. I can even just come and help consult and also say, yep, you've got everything there that you need. And then you can just actually get me to come in and set it all up for you.
Yeah.
I definitely won't do the dishes for you though.
But that sounds great, yeah.
I'm happy to do it as well for Christmas and also New Year as well. I'm available for both. Obviously it'll be a little bit closer to the time, but if you have an area that you know you want set up, or even prior to that, because obviously families are all over the country, we can be celebrating throughout the whole of December, and sometimes actually just having your table set, you know, this doesn't need to move, obviously your fresh bits, but once I set it,
you can just keep it,
and you just keep reusing it throughout until January.
Yeah.
And then you can just give me a call to come and get the little bits back, and that's it.
That sounds so handy,
Yeah.
especially when Christmas time is so busy, like there's so much else going on, isn't there?
It is, and I mean, like, I've got stepchildren, so I know how busy things can be, and I call myself a part-time mum. So I can't imagine how busy things could be if you've got a big home, or you're working in one of our emergency services right now.
Yeah.
You know, this would be such a lovely thing, or even a nice gift to give somebody. It's like, look, get somebody in, give them a little bit of sparkle, make it nice, and just something for you to walk in and go, feels like Christmas.
Yeah, and one less thing to worry about, isn't
it?
Do you only style tables, or can you style other events throughout the year?
Yeah, so I actually do a lot of weddings.
Okay.
So it's really exciting. It's always fun to speak to brides.
Yeah.
But that's where you'll find me doing a lot of my bigger props. So I do seating areas, do backdrops for ceremonies,
Oh wow.
up until the little final touches for weddings as well, for their table, like top tables and centerpieces and things like that. So I'm available throughout the whole year, baby showers, hen do's, all the little things that you can think of. Any celebration. Yeah. Because it is just that sort of creating a party vibe, and some people aren't sure how to do it, or they can't bother. And I completely agree with that as well. Get somebody else in to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you can, why not? So I can do everything.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so anytime.
So if, say I have no time and I also have none of the accessories or the tableware to actually set up my table, could I give you a budget and then just let you go wild?
Absolutely. I mean, don't let me go wild, but definitely give me a budget. No, absolutely. Like, I love to source. So I source a lot for weddings. I also do a lot of sourcing for set design and videographers and shoots that I do. And I really, really enjoy it. I love taking your ideas and then be able to create that vision in front of you.
Yeah.
But what I also like to do is where I can is use local suppliers.
Yeah.
So just like Scotland Shop, I also like to use local florists or local makers, wreath making as well, things like that. I will try and use, wherever you are, I will try and use your local area as much as I can, but also staying within budget too. So yeah, absolutely. And I create a whole plan for you. You can create a mood board, put it all down, see what you need, and then create within the budget.
Wow, that sounds really amazing.
It's good fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Emma. It has been so amazing to see you bring to life this beautiful Scottish-inspired table, and I can't wait to incorporate all of your amazing tips into my own Christmas table. And if any of you at home do incorporate any of Emma's amazing tips into your table, we would love to see pictures, so be sure to send them over to us. We'll leave all the information on how you can get in contact with Emma so she can style your event or table in the description of the video, and stay tuned next week as we dive into the world of Clan MacDonald, who is our clan of the month for December.
Perfect.